Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Let's go start now. A former WWE superstar claims Vince McMahon fired him because he looked like Hulk Hogan. Dan Spivey recalled his final chat with McMahon, where he was told that the company didn't need two Hogans. Hogan was the biggest superstar in the pro wrestling business back in the mid to late 80s. Dan Spivey had a brief stint with WWE back then. At one point, he donned the character of Golden Boy, a gimmick that was similar to that of Hogan's. As per Dan Spivey, Vince McMahon didn't need two Hulk Hogans and fired him as a result. Here's what he said on a recent edition of Wrestling Epicenter. Hulk Hogan dominated WWE's main event scene like no one ever did. It's been about 3 decades since Hogan was WWE's biggest superstar. No one has come close to dominating WWE's main event scene like the Hulkster did back in the 80s and early 90s. Dennis Rodman skipped NBA Finals practice so he could appear on WCW Monday Nitro with Hulk Hogan and the NWO. That's how popular Hogan was. It's hard to truly grasp it unless you live through it. What a time. Hogan headlined 8 of the first 9 WrestleManias. He only lost 1 main event out of 8 to the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. Hogan went on to become the biggest heel in the industry in WCW, resulting in the birth of the Monday Night Wars. Abilish Mend is a pro wrestling journalist at Sportskeeda with nearly 5 years of experience. He completed his MBA from the Symbiosis Institute of Telecom Management in 2016 and worked with multiple banking institutions, including Tech Mahindra. While he started writing WWE articles for Sportskeeda in 2019 as a hobby, it eventually became a significant part of his professional journey. Abilish checks his articles thrice before sending them to the editing team, ensuring his work is highly accurate and reliable. He has interviewed prominent pro wrestling personalities like Noam Dar, Angry Ms. Girl, Brendan Kobina, and Jesse Lambert. Abilish is a big fan of AEW star Orange Cassidy, as he believes the former international champion's on-screen gimmick of an extremely lazy guy resonates with him. Given the opportunity to script WWE's next big storyline, Abilish would treat fans to the second installment of the Bloodline Civil War. He would book Roman Reigns to reform the Bloodline with the USOs and Sami Zayn upon his comeback. The angle would see the Tribal Chief-led group go head-to-head with The Rock, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu in a blockbuster family feud. When not reporting on pro wrestling, Abilish likes to work out, go on walks, read, and explore new eateries. When looking back at WWE history, there have been countless moments of triumph, controversy, and unexpected decisions made behind the curtain. One such decision involved Vince McMahon parting ways with a performer who, in the eyes of the company chairman, bore too close a resemblance to Hulk Hogan. The reasoning behind this move became a talking point in wrestling circles for years, as it highlighted how WWE carefully managed its roster to ensure originality, individuality, and distinct marketability. The wrestling business thrives on star power, and few stars in the industry's history have shined brighter than Hulk Hogan. During his peak years in the 1980s and early 1990s, Hogan was the face of professional wrestling. His charisma, unmatched presence, and ability to connect with fans transcended the squared circle, turning him into a cultural icon. WWE built its global expansion around him, and he became synonymous with the golden age of wrestling. That level of stardom came with an unspoken reality. Nobody else on the roster was ever going to be allowed to look, act, or sound like Hogan without it drawing unwanted comparisons. It was against this backdrop that Vince McMahon reportedly evaluated another rising star in the company who carried traits reminiscent of Hogan. This performer had the muscular build, the larger-than-life charisma, and even a certain resemblance that made fans and industry insiders alike take notice. While these qualities may have worked in favor of many wrestlers, in this case they were seen as a detriment. McMahon, who always wanted his characters to stand out with unique identities, believed the star was veering dangerously close to Hogan territory. Behind the scenes, McMahon's mindset was clear. He did not want two performers who looked or acted too similar, particularly when one of them was already the biggest draw in wrestling. In his view, having someone that audiences might perceive as a Hogan copy diluted the brand. WWE's formula has always revolved around creating stars who bring something different to the table, whether that meant Steve Austin's rebellious anti-hero persona, The Rock's electrifying charisma, or John Cena's never-give-up appeal. Replicating a Hogan-type character, even unintentionally, went against this philosophy. As a result, the wrestler in question was released from the company. For fans, the news came as a shock since he had shown promise and appeared poised for a significant push. Some even speculated that if given time, he could have grown into a top-tier name. Instead, his exit underscored the rigid structure of WWE's creative vision, where resemblance to an established star could be as much of a curse as it was a compliment. This wasn't the first or last time WWE would face such a dilemma. Throughout its history, the company has often wrestled with managing similarities between talents. There have been examples where performers were rebranded, given new gimmicks, or outright separated from existing acts to avoid overlapping identities. In this case, however, the decision was far more severe: complete removal from the roster. From a business perspective, McMahon's choice had some merit. Hulk Hogan was not just another superstar, he was the centerpiece of WWE's success, the name that sold out arenas, moved merchandise, and drew millions of fans to television screens. Having another performer mimic aspects of Hogan risked confusing audiences or undermining Hogan's singular status. Protecting Hogan's aura, in McMahon's mind, meant ensuring nobody else came close to imitating him, even unintentionally. Yet for the wrestler released, the decision altered the trajectory of his career. Rather than continuing to grow under WWE's global platform, he was forced to seek opportunities elsewhere. Some wrestlers in this situation managed to reinvent themselves in rival promotions, while others faded away, unable to recover from the abrupt halt to their momentum. Wrestling is an industry where timing and presentation mean everything, and losing a spot in WWE during a critical period often made it difficult to bounce back. The incident also revealed the delicate balance WWE maintained in shaping its roster. On one hand, the company thrived on producing distinct stars who each had their own fan base. On the other, it risked stifling potential by cutting off talents deemed too similar to existing draws. This balancing act has long been debated among fans and insiders. Some argue that WWE missed out on elevating multiple stars at once by being overly protective of its leading names, while others believe the company's discipline in maintaining unique identities preserved its ability to market wrestlers as singular attractions. The decision to let this wrestler go also fed into the ongoing narrative about Vince McMahon's hands-on approach. Known for being meticulous about presentation, character development, and overall branding, McMahon often made bold calls that shaped the direction of WWE for decades. His willingness to release someone with potential simply because of perceived similarities to Hogan reflected his uncompromising vision of what WWE should represent. For him, protecting the image of a megastar like Hogan was worth more than gambling on an unproven talent who might blur the lines. Over time, stories like this became part of the broader lore of WWE. Fans often speculate about what-if scenarios. What if this performer had stayed? Could he have developed into a star distinct from Hogan, given the right direction? Would WWE have eventually found a way to differentiate the two, creating a storyline where similarities became an asset rather than a liability? These unanswered questions add a layer of intrigue to wrestling history, as they highlight the countless variables that shape careers. In hindsight, the incident also serves as an example of how wrestling promotions evolve. Decades later, WWE became far more open to having multiple performers with overlapping qualities. For instance, the company embraced larger rosters with several stars who carried similarities in size, movesets, or personas. However, in the era dominated by Hogan, McMahon's priority was to protect his leading man at all costs. That priority dictated decisions that sometimes cost other wrestlers their WWE careers. Ultimately, the moment underscores the unpredictable nature of the wrestling industry. Careers can be shaped or shattered by decisions that may appear minor on the surface, but carry massive implications behind the scenes. For the star who was let go, it meant a lost opportunity to shine on WWE's grand stage. For McMahon, it was another move in the chess game of maintaining control over his empire, ensuring that no one overshadowed the image of the company's biggest attraction. The legacy of this decision remains one of those behind-the-curtain tales that wrestling fans continue to revisit. It reflects the reality that in WWE, individuality was not just encouraged, it was demanded. And for those who came too close to resembling Hulk Hogan during his prime, the path often ended with an abrupt exit, no matter how much potential they seemed to possess.